Hello, good morning, and welcome to this Dawn Busters Taste Challenge. We have North American rye whiskeys with no age statement, but they do have a blend ratio statement. Not a complete one, but anyway, from 2015, Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye, 90% rye. The other 10% unlisted. Some other cereal grain, corn, could be oats, could be wheat, could be rice, could be barley, could be anything. But we know it's 90% rye. No age statement, 90 proof. The competitor, Jack Daniel's barrel aged rye, charcoal mellowed. That means it's dripped through charcoal to filter it. Tennessee straight rye whiskey. Jack Daniel Distillery, 90 proof, 70% rye whiskey. Introduced in 2017. 2017. Typical green label for rye whiskeys. I don't know why they use green. Maybe it reminds them of mint. Because to me, rye tastes minty. All right. I keep changing the camera, adjusting because I'm in a different chair. I got to fix the other chair. I got to repair it today. Or rig it. More than repair. Price. Well, availability is zero here. No stores sell it in this town anymore, to my knowledge. There might be one or two that I've overlooked, but I'm not aware of them. These never really caught on. Is Jack Daniel's popular around here? Oh, yeah. Everybody sells that. Sells like, crazy, steady clip. But even Jack Daniel's can't touch Crown Royal in Louisiana. Crown Royal is the #1 whiskey in Louisiana. Can't keep it in stock. They just get cases and cases and cases and cases and cases of it. The rye, well, you might see a store here and there selling it. Total Wine doesn't even sell it here anymore because probably nobody was buying it. Mathern's was selling it and then it disappeared. I found this at Discount Depot and they had it on like a closeout price. So I was okay, let's do the prices. First one I bought was the Tennessee Rye. I got 750 milliliters of Jack Daniel's Tennessee Rye, straight rye whiskey. Let's see, what was the price? $11.98. $11.98 for 750 milliliters. Now, is that a good deal? You know it is. You know you're going to pay over $20, $23 or so for it. Might find it for $20 if you're lucky. So it was a great price, $11.98. The greatest rye whiskey deal in the world. But here's another great deal. I was at Discount Depot. I see that they have the Crown Royal Rye, which 2 years ago I didn't think much of it because, I knew a lot of people were carrying it. So I just said, oh, okay, they got Crown Royal Rye. And it was on a display, like a little, they call that an island in a store or a standalone area. And I thought, oh, yeah, I'll get that one day. But then I saw the price. It said $15.99. Now, see, I knew it was like about $30 for it, about $30. So I said, $15.99, I'll buy it. I don't need it right now, but I'll never see that price again. And I surely never did. So I bought it and I put it in storage on the shelf till I needed it. So last week, I needed it. Yeah, like you need it. You know what I mean? I needed it for my reviews. So I took the box out and put it on the counter in my little display area for what's coming up. And I was like, man, that box looks big, but I didn't pay much attention to it until I took the bottle out the box. Tony P, can you do another malt liquor project? Well, I have to find more malt liquor to do the project on. You know what I'm saying? I've covered all the ones I can get. So it was sort of like the project was complete. So here's Northern Harvest Rye. But then I noticed when I was getting ready to review it last week, I said, wait a minute, this is a liter bottle. Fascinating. I got a liter of Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye for $15.99, and I couldn't get over it. I still can't get over it. Discount Depot, U.S. Highway 90 business route, West Bank Expressway. Great product. One day that'll be called Interstate 49. They're planning to transform it into Interstate Highway 49 from New Orleans to Kansas City. That will probably be, if you're 25 years old watching this video, that'll probably be when you're 75 years old, if they ever finish it. So don't count on it, buddy. All right. They've been working on Interstate 49 since the early 90s. And since the late 80s, sorry. And they're going at a snail's pace. It's a low priority project. It's not like the malt liquor project that was completed. It's a low priority highway project that is never going to get completed. Okay, they even had signs up on there saying future Interstate 49. I think they took those down because it was like, it's such a joke, you know. So if I translate this over into a regular size bottle, then it's the same price as a Jack Daniel's plus a penny, $11.99 versus $11.98. Now I'm starting to choke. Now, but let's be realistic. You're not going to find them for that price, okay? So let's go with the regular price. If you get the Jack Daniel's Northern Harvest Rye, you're going to pay $30. And if you get the Jack Daniel's Tennessee Straight Rye Whiskey, Tennessee Rye, you're going to pay about $24. So what we're really dealing with right now is the Crown Royal $6 better? I don't know, because I've been getting really mixed up and tricked up and screwed up on these. Now, the old overhaul, I got it right the first time. Okay, it was no big difference. Then I did old overhaul 86 proof, the new version, which is now 86 versus 90. That's getting kind of close. 3-year age versus who knows how old age Crown Royal. At least 3, may not be more than 3. I don't know. Are you a fan of Fireball? No, I'm not. But that's not the single out Fireball. I'm not a fan of any of those cinnamon flavored liqueurs, whiskey liqueurs. So, but I know a woman, she loves it. That's her thing, her Fireball. It seems to appeal to women mostly, but which is fine, doesn't matter to me. And then I did Sazerac, couldn't tell it apart. And I did a third one, I couldn't tell it apart. So I was like, wow, yeah, Woodford Reserve, couldn't tell it from the Crown Royal. So you might say, well, you need a really good palate and you're probably not able to do it. You're not qualified. But that's a good, strong possibility. But another strong possibility is that they're so similar one to the other that almost no one can tell them apart. And until somebody does blind taste test, you know, I don't really want to hear about it because I'm not seeing anybody doing blind taste tests between Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye and other products. I'm just not seeing it. If I saw it, I'd watch it. You know, I would watch it if I saw it. So, you know, people might say, oh, yeah, I could tell it apart. I know my rye. Yeah. Okay. Well, then do the video. Blind, not you looking at it and you're saying, yeah, this is this and this is that. And I really like this taste and I'm not too sure about that taste. No. Do it blind and let's see how much of an expert you are. And do it live. It has to be a live video. It can't be recorded so that we don't know if you're going back and editing it and deleting things that didn't come out so nice. You know, we got to do it live. Now, one thing we notice in these beautiful Diamore glasses, which were given to me, and I appreciate that. I had those nice Glencairn glasses that John and Ilya gave me. All 4 of them broke, shattered, with very little effort, I might add. People will say those are the best glasses for tasting because it funnels the aroma towards your nose and all that. Well, it might be true. Probably is true. But they're the worst glasses for resiliency. They're so flimsy and they break with, it just break. I mean, it takes no, I mean, I was just doing things like washing the glasses, barely making contact, like just like, you know, and it's shattered, broke. I said, oh no, I can't. Every time I washed those glasses, I was nervous that it would break while I was washing and cut my hand. I mean, I'm serious. I said, this is the thinnest glass. And I said, why would you pay $8, $9 a glass for this? Like a Sazerac house. I said, I'm not doing it. Is it going to make a great difference between a Glencairn and these? It probably doesn't make any difference, honestly, but people will claim, and get fixated on it. But when Total Wine first opened up here, says Dark Patches, they had Northern Harvest for $17. Wow, I thought it was perfectly fine, but just like you, I had trouble distinguishing it from cheaper ryes like Bleat. And what state are you in? We've only had Total Wine here for a year, since when the scamdemic was going on, hot and heavy. They opened it in June of 2020. $30, woof, in Kentucky. Wow, yikes. Well, I was glad I got that liter for $15.99. Let me tell you. So the scamdemic is dying out in the sense that, the numbers are going down. But then the people that want to perpetuate it are like, no, we got to keep this going. You're going to die. There's no hope. You got to do what we say. Freedom doesn't matter. Forget all that freedom talk. What's wrong with you? That's un-American, and they doing all that. Good morning, B Aviation. So it's funny to hear these people say all that freedom stuff is un-American, man. It doesn't matter if the numbers are low. It's that you do what we say. That's what matters. So I say, wow. And I love a crisis, because the good thing about a crisis, it exposes the devils in the world. You know what I mean? Like, it exposes who is really, they got people walking around being all like, acting like they're American, I believe in freedom, this is a great country and all of that. And it's like, oh, yeah, okay. But then when a crisis comes, you can find out who really does have a hammer and sickle tattoo on their chest. They do. And when they go to sleep at night, they kneel down in front of a Karl Marx photo. And they'll still try to get her. I don't want to talk about that. Don't bring that up with me. How dare you ask a question like that? And I'm like, well, if you're talking the talk, I might figure you might be walking the walk, and you never did answer the question, funnily enough. Anytime you ask these people a pointed questions like, oh, can I ask you a question? Sure. I'm a man. I'm 40. I could take it. I'm like, okay, are you a communist? And then they'll say, how dare you ask me that question? 7 years ago, this country was, I said, wait a minute. I said, I didn't ask for all of that. You can call me names, scream and holler, talk about how you're going to block me and tell everybody stuff. I didn't ask you all of that. I asked you a simple question, either a yes or no, but you won't answer it. But that's okay. You don't have to answer the question, because by refusing to answer the question, I know the answer, So those are funny things. All right, now let's get back to this crisis, which is not a true crisis. This is just a challenge. It's interesting that kids are going to be reading about the scamdemic in 5 to 10 years. Yeah, and then it'll be all propaganda based, it'll be all, I mean, you got to remember who's writing the history. And it's how they're going to frame it. So the kids are going to think, oh, yeah, we needed all these interventions to protect us from the goblin, the hobgoblin, from the boogeyman and that. So, and if you read history now, like in World War II, they just give you all the standard history, Japan was a very bad country and America tried to save the world from bad old Japan, and and then they go in, it's just like a very simplistic thing. And for no reason whatsoever, they attacked Pearl Harbor. And, all these things are like, they never like allow any like critical analysis, And that's something you should think about. When no one will tolerate a critical analysis of a topic, it could be whiskey, history, illness, that should be an alarm bell for you. See, that should always be an alarm bell. It could be anything, religion, because that tells you something, or it should be. Use your intelligence. It won't hurt you if you got any. I mean, unless you use it incorrectly, you understand? All right. This smells minty, grainy. And when I say grainy, I mean like grain, like cereal grain. I like cereal grain. I love cereal grain ever since Arnold Rothstein fixed the World Series in 1919. Oh, I heard you had a little trouble. Okay. Aroma is not as strong over here. There's aroma, but it's not as strong. So now, which is which? I wish I knew. My confidence level is not there. Well, it's there a little bit. Do I have confidence? Yeah, but not much. I have more non-confidence than confidence at this point. But I know this much. I'm confident that I'm going to like both because I know I like them already. I already did solo reviews and they were good. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I got rye whiskey in my, and then woo. I said not about a whole lot of aroma, but the flavor is there. Ouch. I forgot I thought I was drinking beer. Whoa. Yikes. That was an intensity in 10 cities. That was like minty rye, 90 proof, full metal jacket. This is my rye. There are many others like it, but this one is mine. That's what this is. Wow. Ooh, I can hack it. I can hack it. Woo. Oh, well, if you're used to blended whiskeys that are real mild, like say Seagram 7, 80 proof, you know, that kind of thing. I listened to people talk about Seagram 7 yesterday at a store. They were talking about it. And you drink this, you would just be appalled or maybe excited. You might be like me. You might be like, wow, I didn't know whiskey could be all this. And then you could get into more complex things. Or maybe you'd hate it. Or maybe you'd have a middle ground. You kind of like it, you kind of don't like it. Who knows? Oh, well, now, Captain Howdy, that wasn't very nice. Look. Do you know what she did? Look. This is much milder in the taste. Over here is much milder. It seems to be sweeter. Uh-oh. What do we think of when we think of sweeter? You say, I don't know, Fruit Loops? No, I mean, Crown Royal. What is a distinctive feature of Crown Royal? Sweetness. I think and then we firebombed and nuclearized Japan and killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. We were definitely the good guys. You see, I wish you wouldn't. You see, when you bring up facts like that, at least this is what neoconservatives tell me. You see, if you, an observer of history, dare to bring up facts such as the Allies intentionally killed hundreds of thousands of civilians, then you are obviously a supporter of the German president and leader of, the leader of Germany from 1933 to 1945. You are obviously a supporter of the Axis. That's what they always say, How dare you bring up these facts? And I had people tell me they were doing that to save lives. And I told the guy, I said, that's an interesting comment you made there. They were doing that to save lives. Strange. Reminds me of a 1943 speech given, I believe, in Germany, might have been Poland, by Heinrich Himmler, where he said, he was saying, we don't really like what's happening with our special operations in the East. We don't really want to talk about it. He says, but we have to do this to save our soldiers' lives. And he gave reasons, that these people would be partisans and shoot at the troops from behind the lines, and they were all communists and everything. And so these guys were telling me, oh, they were all fanatics over there in Japan. They were going to fight on the beaches, fight on the landing grounds. They would never surrender. They must have thought they were all Winston Churchill. And so the guy was saying, how dare you say that? We had to kill these, and it's only 100 or 160,000 people. Why nitpick? He was saying, and to save lives. I said, so you do have the same philosophical approach that Heinrich Himmler had. And of course, he unfriended me because, logic was not necessarily his strong suit. Emotionalism, grandstanding, he was good at that. Logic, didn't really work out for him too well. Man, when you use logic, it can get you in trouble when you study history. I don't mean get you in trouble like it'll help you understand history, actually. It'll get you in trouble with people I just described, loud grandstanders who know everything. Well, they claim to know everything. They don't really know much of anything, but you know the type. They're in your family. They're in mine. They're on television all the time, talking loud, saying stupid things, headstrong. I let it go. I didn't ask who gave the order because it had nothing to do with business. All right. I like talking about history more than I like tasting whiskey, but when I talk about history, people get angry. They're like, oh, I don't want to talk to you anymore. Like, they're like super fans. I've had this happen so many times over the years. They'll be like, can I come live with you? I love your beer reviews. Let's be friends. Can you adopt me? And they go on and on. And like on Facebook, oh, wow, man, you're great. You're the best. And I'm like, okay. Thanks for your support. I appreciate you watching. And they just, let's do hangouts. Let's do videos together. Wow, I really appreciate your beer reviews. I identify with you. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I know what's coming. And then I'll make a political video or something. Oh, and they say, how dare you say that? And I'm like, because I know about history. And then it's like on a dime. I'm your greatest enemy. I hate you. I hate your guts. And I'm going to tell everybody about that. I'm like, wow, I'm glad I didn't adopt you and let you move in with me. But, you get those type of people right off the bat. They're not, they're not playing with a full concrete truck. They're not playing with a card full of knives, sharpest in a drawer light bulb. You know what I'm saying? All right. Good morning, Ron. Okay, let's look at the last comments. Then we're going to try to tell these apart. The Dixie Bass Man says, good morning, Ron. Well, the president who ordered to drop those bombs did get promoted to the rank of 33rd degree in a certain organization. Yes. Why must you bring up these troubling facts? It makes me very angry. I guess you didn't want him to ride in the parades and the little motorbikes with the red fez cap and fund that hospital and be all nice and friendly and moral and on the level. And like another guy with his square hamburgers. Could you adopt me? All right, your yuppie accent is hilarious. Oh, thank you. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. So yeah, history. If you want to have a lot of friends and be popular and be part of the in crowd and hang out with the cool kids, don't talk about it. And by golly, if you do talk about it, you better go along with the main program. You know what I mean? Don't be like Colonel Kurtz and get off the boat and you'll split with the whole program. My mistake, really, I mean, I admit to my mistakes. See, I'll admit I'm humble. I'll be the first to admit I'm humble. I'm going to make a billboard talking about how humble I am. Y'all want to buy t-shirts advertising it? But look, okay, I made a big mistake. I read history, as a hobby, reading history, learning about flags, different countries. Okay, blah, blah, reading, like a good little kid, like a kid, like a child. A child reads. Some kids read about dinosaurs and some read about sports heroes. Some reading history, minding my business. But I got off the boat. Like Colonel Kurtz. I started reading and I started asking very unpleasant questions like, but why? But why? You don't ask those questions like why. He was 38 years old. Why would he do that? So and boy, I tell you what, when you start asking why, when you study history like World War II, you'll get the most interesting answers. Most interesting answers. And I felt like Colonel Kurtz because people didn't dig my report. You know what I'm saying? But they lie. They lie, and we must be merciful for those who lie, those nabobs. Well, these are both very nice. Now I'm gonna be truthful about this. They're very nice. I like them. Are they worth the price? Oh yes, I think Jack Daniel's worth $24, and I think the Crown Royal. I almost said Seagram's Crown Royal. I caught myself. Haha. I think the Crown Royal Northern Harvest Rye is worth the $30. Or if you can find it for 25, you'd be a lucky dog. You'd be a lucky dog now if you can find it, really. But I'm so glad. Oh, so very glad that I got it for $15.99 for the liter bottle, and I got the Jack Daniel's for $11.98 for the 750. So I'm so happy. I'm so happy. I think this is the Jack Daniel's. You say, oh, you're stupid because it's 90% rye versus 70% rye. Everybody could tell that apart. All the good whiskey people, well, good. When you do your blind taste test, I'll be the first to watch and the first to comment. If you do good, I'll see you one more time. If you do bad, I'll see you 2 more times. I got it right. Now I'm back on track. I'm back, baby. I did it. I did it. I'm so proud. Oh, I'm so full. I'm so emotional right now. I just want to try for the kingdom if I can on a great big clipper ship, I don't know just where I'm going, but going to modify my life. Did you upset your college professors? Okay, Rogelio Mayado says, hello, I love this channel. Thank you. I love you loving this channel. I appreciate you watching. Marquee matchup this morning. You got that right. Jeep and Foodie says, did you upset your college professors, or were they not yet poisoning the well with Marxist ideology? They were poisoning the well with Marxist ideology. But you see, I was very careful because I had been inoculated. I did take a shot, a cognitive shot. So by the time I got to college, I was already reading, and I knew what these people were going to do. So I would go to class. I'd always sit at the front desk. They like that because it gives them attention. They want attention. And I would sit up there taking my notes, just listening. I'm like Henry Hill. I'm just listening, you know. And I had one professor who was very right wing, and we'd look at each other, kind of wink, like, I know, yes, but I was careful, you know. I always was careful to play the right cards, you know. So my goal was to make a good grade, and I knew these Marxist professors, they just want to hear their own noxious fumes, you know what I mean? They want to breathe in their own carbon monoxide. So I'm listening, and I would say, oh, okay. So I'd take the test. When I was working on a master's degree, you have to write these long essay answers. I hated that. That's the thing I hated the most. I didn't mind reading 100 pages a day for 4 years in history books. I like that because you learn. And then it was an excuse to people say, oh, he can't come help us build that shed because he's got to read 100 pages for his master's degree. And I'd be like, that's true. But it actually was true, you know. It really wasn't a way to get out of work. It was just the facts. So, but, oh, I hated taking those tests. Talk about misery. It'd be like 3 hours. You'd be writing and just writing. It's like, oh, I just hated it. It's like so tedious, you know. But I knew how to deal with these Marxist Leninists, because they are up there screaming and hollering and being all belligerent in the classroom and everything, and I'm just listening. So when I would take the test, I wouldn't argue with them. I would just say, well, this book says this, and this author said this, and it has been mentioned by some that such and such is the case. I never once said I agree with any of it. I would never say I agree with it. I would just talk about it. You know what I'm saying? I never endorsed it. And it always give me an A or a B, you know, about the lowest grade I ever made in any class. The lowest grade I ever made in any class in my master's degree program was an A. So I had a 4.0. And then the day I got my degree, they asked me, did I want to teach for them? They came out in the hall and they said, you passed. I said, good. And then the guy said, hey, would you like to teach for Southeastern Louisiana University? I said, sure. So I did that for 12 years. And I never filled out an application, never filled out any paperwork, actually. Never. I never did an application. They just sent me money. And I did you know, of course I had to post the grades on the computer, you know, but I mean, I just never filled out an application. I was just on their roll. They're on their list, you know. And that was a lot of fun. And it was a lot of money too. $48 an hour. That was in 1994. Imagine what it is now. $48 an hour. That was the best, highest paying job I ever had. And now, like I told you, that was 27 years ago. Imagine what it is today. My good friend is a political science major, and he constantly disagrees with all his professors. Yeah, I would get people. Hello. All right, well, we're going to close this out. I had students like that, fellow students. And they were like country, Mississippi, Louisiana people. And they come up to me after class, because you'd always have these international socialist students to be loud, screaming, hollering, feminists, loud, screaming, hollering, you know, like super belligerent in class. Well, this is what I think. This is what I think. They go on, and I just sit there smiling, you know, like, haha. And I remember after one time I did speak up, just one time, like all innocent, you know. I was like, and he's like, yes, Ronald. I'm like, well, and I never would say anything in class, like ever. I'll just be quiet, like a stone, like a statue. I said, well, I think I do. No, what did I say? I do agree with this Louisiana abortion law. And those women went crazy. They were like all screaming and hollering, how dare you? And I'm smiling to myself like, and they were just screaming and going crazy. And the professor's like, wait a minute. Everybody has a right to their opinion. That's back when they would still pretend like they agreed with that. Although this was the right wing one who did agree with that. All the rest, they would just say that. They didn't really believe it. And I remember after class, a boy and a girl, young man and young woman, but anybody under 30, you know, we call them a boy and a girl. They came up to me in the hall and they said, man, we're Christians. We agree with you. That's what they told me. We're Christians. We agree with you. And I said, okay, but why you didn't speak up and help me? You left me out there hanging by myself. But it was fear, fear of retribution, and that they would be counterattacked. And you do have to keep that in mind. They got some dirty professors, they'll like literally give you a lower grade if you don't wave the hammer and sickle flag. But I had enough intelligence, God, thank God, God-given grace, I guess you'd say, that I was able to maneuver around it by never endorsing any of their poison, just saying, I would just say people say this. And people said, well, it's true. People do say this and say that. Didn't say I agree with it. I remember one time I was talking about Pol Pot. It was some history class about Vietnam War or something. And I was saying Pol Pot, he was a bad guy. Saloth Slar, his real name. I said he killed, like 3 million people and all that. I said, but really, when you think about it, his ideology was like totally in line with Jean-Jacques Rousseau. Totally in line. Like everything he said was in total agreement with Jean-Jacques Rousseau of France. And he was practicing, as they called it, democracy. And hey, this is what democracy looks like in the sense of Pol Pot. So and the professor, as left-wing as he was, he says, wow, that's a great, he gave me an A+ on that paper. He was like shocked, that I was able to figure that out at age 23, something like that. Anyway, thanks for watching this video production. Do we have a winner though? Good question. I was able to tell them apart. Okay. I guess in this case, you just go with the price point. The Jack Daniels is about $5 cheaper. Yeah, just save the $5. Get the Jack Daniels rye, really. If you got some kind of great urge to buy a rye whiskey, I don't know why you would, but maybe you do. I like rye. What I mean is, I don't know why somebody would have a great urge to buy any particular product, but you might. But if you're looking to save money and you don't want to go overboard and spend too much, yeah, just get the Jack Daniels rye. You won't lose. You won't lose. But if you buy the Crown Royal rye, you won't lose either. You win. Either way, you win. So it's an approach conflict, meaning any choice you make is a winning choice. So there's no downside to this. This whole video that we just made, there's no downside to it. It's an approach conflict. And those are the best kind of conflicts to have. Like either choice is perfect. It's not a common conflict, but you got to do some more history live streams. I do, but I'll just lose more friends, I guess. Friends. Remember that. If people claim they're your friend and they stop talking to you because of some political disagreement, they're not friends. They're vipers, The Bible talks about that, putting your trust in the flesh of man. People are unreliable, They say, I love you. So I'm sure King David told Uriah that he loved him. You're a great general. You're a great general. I'd say between them, the Jack is more to my liking between the two. Ron, did you study from the late Smedley Butler and Archbishop Fulton Sheen on how to deal with these crazy modernists? I didn't necessarily study under them, but I know about Archbishop Sheen. Yeah, you just have to. It's sort of like swimming in a swimming pool full of sharks. You're probably going to get killed, but you do your best trying to swim in there. Like somebody told me, his name is John too. He was a former New Orleans policeman. He's a genius. He's still alive. He's a Facebook friend. John told me, he said, remember this, the worst they can do is kill you. I said, right.